We would start our presentations today with Claire Pearson. Claire, welcome. Could you share with us and our audience your background in the charity sector and tell us a little bit more about your position today with Belu Water?
Hi there. I'm really pleased to be joining us. I'll actually touch on that in my presentation a bit more, but basically I've been in the water world for I think over 11 years now, previously working in the NGO side of things for the Global International Water Charity WaterAid, and then for the past 5 years working for Belu. We're a sustainable business and social enterprise supplying sustainable water service solutions to the hospitality industry and also the workplace sectors.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Claire. That's really, really great. That gives everybody a really nice background of where you've come from. I know you have a presentation for us today from Belu Water. If you'd like to go ahead, we would love to see. Perfect.
Right, so you should just be able to see a full screen now, right?
Yeah.
Share the difference. Okay, so World Water Day, everyone. I mean, it's one of those funny days, isn't it? Because in some ways you want to say Happy World Water Day, but I think actually World Water Day is a funny one in that we need to reflect on some of the progress that has been made in terms of ensuring clean water and sanitation for all, but also recognise that there still is a global water crisis. You know, obviously there's another crisis going on at the moment in terms of the pandemic, but there's actually a global water crisis with regards to the amount of people that worldwide don't have access to clean water, decent toilets and good hygiene. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today, and also for me being invited as a speaker today. As I mentioned, I'm Claire from Belu. We are a sustainable business and purpose-driven business, and really our mission is to change the way the world sees water by 2030. I think my challenge here today is I've got so much good stuff to share with you that I might need a bit of a nudge on time. So do let me know, but hopefully you'll find it useful. So, you know, World Water Day, the theme of it today is about how we value water and what it means to you to ensure, and for us to ensure water for all. So I think what I'll cover today for the audience here in hotels and spas is why we all need to play a part in combating the water crisis and supporting the combat against climate change. How at Belu we're putting people and the environment first in everything we do, with sustainability at our heart, and also give you a few examples of spas and hotels that we've worked with to help them on their next journey with sustainable water service. But I think, you know, water's a funny thing, isn't it? It can mean so many different things to each one of us, and certainly for me it's always been about life, work and play. So, you know, I grew up by the seaside. Water was really important. I grew up in a fishing town. You know, without clean oceans, then, you know, livelihoods in that town do not exist. Like I said before, I was then fortunate enough to work at WaterAid, the global water NGO, for nearly 7 years, managing programs in South Asia and West Africa as part of a multi-million-pound program that HSBC was supporting. Then I found myself at Belu, who were actually a partner of WaterAid. And the reason I joined Belu was because of our ethics and because of the way we do business. And then also I spend a lot of time in cold water. I love cold water, swimming and a dip in the ocean when I can. But I think, you know, for most of us, if we think about the first 15 minutes of every morning, we've got access to clean water. Actually, if you think about those first 15 minutes, most probably you did something involving water, whether it's brushing your teeth or making a coffee or having a shower. And it's something that we all take for granted. But actually, in reality, there's 1 in 10 people living without clean water to drink. This photograph, I was actually there when it was taken. It was when I worked at WaterAid. It's in northern Ghana, very rural area, an area that is basically has lack of investment and massive inequalities in terms of, you know, how different communities are treated. And that was that community's only water source. So, you know, sharing it with cattle, doing all their washing, drinking, water-related disease. Diarrheal diseases are the biggest killer of children aged under 5, which is something we don't often hear about, but is obviously a massive issue. So, people don't get clean water, they stay trapped in poverty. And also climate change is making the situation even harder by impacting water supply. So I think, as individuals and businesses, we all have a part to play in making things better. And certainly for us as a business at Belu, and I know a lot of hotels are also supporting the UN Sustainable Development Goals, because without collective action, progress will not be made. Are we on track for the Sustainable Development Goals to be met? Most probably not. It is 2021 now. We've been talking about these for a while. However, I think that progress that has been made and will be made is the most important thing. We need to shift the goalposts a bit, then so be it. But the point is that I think, and I've certainly found talking to more and more people recently, that so many more businesses are getting behind the Sustainable Development Goals. So if your business isn't yet behind the Sustainable Development Goals, please make a plan for action of how you can help the support of those. For us at Belu, we focus on 3 particular goals: clean water sanitation, responsible consumption and production, and climate action, but of course supporting all the goals as a whole. And for us, as I mentioned, we're a purpose-driven business. So we exist to demonstrate to others that there's a better way to do business. We want to inspire business to do business better, and essentially are here to help businesses. So our purpose goes beyond our products. And by 2030, we've set a new vision today in that we will change the way the world sees water. So for us, that really means putting people and the environment first at every single thing we do. So we're independently certified carbon neutral. We take advantage of circular economy innovation, and we're continually pushing ourselves to do better when it comes to sustainability. And also we are carbon neutral, so we're independently certified to something called BSI PAS 2060. Whenever I talk to construction companies, they know what this is, but a lot of people aren't aware. But basically, we're independently audited to carbon neutrality. So for us, every year we make a forward action plan of how we're going to reduce our carbon emissions end to end, and then anything that's left we will offset. We also invest 100% of our net profits into the charity WaterAid. So as a social enterprise, we exist for social and environmental mission. Environmentally, to show that there's a best-in-class product when it comes to water and drinks. And socially, we're in the water business. It makes sense for us to support a charity like WaterAid. So to date, we've invested over £5.1 million into WaterAid. And of course, are aligning our business with Global Goal 6, clean water and sanitation for all. We're supporting their work across 28 countries. And people like Sabine, I met Sabine, when was it, back in 2018 in Madagascar, poorest of the poor, marginalised communities, took us a couple of days to get there, only access to dirty water from a local water source. And actually with the support of WaterAid, that community now has 9 clean water points that the community all basically took a role in making sure happened. Like us, WaterAid also take a sustainable approach, and very much community involvement is at the core of the success of their work. So it's up to all of us to reduce our carbon footprint and waste, and really reuse wherever possible to support the combat against climate change and ensure that people like Sabine can get clean water. So this is our products. In water, our mission is to show that a business can deliver an environmentally improved, best-in-class proposition to the market on whatever suits a business needs the most. If you're in Britain, we won't export our water, and you're a hospitality business and you want mineral water, as long as that demand is still there, we will supply you with mineral water that is best in class environmentally. So in terms of using closed loop recycling in the packaging that we employ, whether it's our lightweight ethical glass to bottles made from bottles, and our products have allowed nearly 80 million bottles to be made into new blue bottles, keeping glass and plastic in our supply chain and out of landfills and oceans. We also do refillable bottles, and of course the pinnacle is, you know, encouraging people to reduce single use and switch to filtration. So how can hotels and spas be more sustainable in water, but also, let's not forget, in all single-use products that you're using across the board? At Belu, we're proud to be partners of the Sustainable Restaurant Association and Food Made Good for, I think it's the past 5 years now, and we've worked with them and their members on informing and educating them about anything from understanding disposables in hospitality, be that, you know, from plastic cling film to water bottles, and also encouraging them to look at their water service and how they can do better. And, you know, I was listening to our co-CEO on something earlier, actually, and the point of it's hard to be purist. You know, you have to take small steps. Don't beat yourselves up as businesses for not being able to do everything at once. Really look at yourself. And for example, if you take water service in your spa or restaurant, can you buy less? Can you buy better? Education is key. The amount of people that come to Belu and say, why don't you do water in cans? For us, it makes no sense. You know, the carbon footprint of a can in terms of getting aluminium to come from the other side of the world to the UK makes no sense, which is why we choose the formats that we choose. An easy win, you know, remove anything that's non-revenue generating. Plastic bottles is a classic. You know, if you've got mineral water bottles in your room, then why not switch them to filtered water in the room? And also, just a lot of work we've done with the SRAs about unintended consequences. So, you know, you might get a restaurant who goes, right, I've moved to compostable packaging for all of our, you know, takeaways or whatever, and actually, what happens to that compostable packaging at its end of life? Is it ending up into landfill because the local recycling infrastructure does not have the industrial composting side of things on site? So is your infrastructure fit for purpose? In terms of that switch, so we encourage an Italian water chain in the UK to switch from Italian imported water. So again, if you're in Italy, don't use British mineral water. If you're in Britain, why are we using Italian water? So we actually created this green glass range for them. This was a few years ago, and they switched out all of their Italian water to Belu. And then, like I said, better still, filtration, which is kind of as local as it gets, really. And that's certainly an area of our business that we are looking to expand and grow. And eventually we'll shift the dial and, you know, very much become more filtration in terms of what we do, because it's, you know, even better from an environmental perspective, encouraging, you know, to reduce waste and refill on site. And what's the filter doing? So, you know, if you've got a possible tap water supply, then there's no reason why you can't do filtration. It helps you achieve the ideal mineral balance each time. It's taking out all the bad stuff, so to speak, and keeping all the good stuff in. So, you know, if you suffer from lime scale or floaty bits in your water, or it smells a bit chlorine-y, the filtration system will actually enable you to basically take out all of that stuff and give your guests an optimal mineral balance each time. Great example of a spa that we've done this with is Limewood Hotel. I can see Tammy's on the call. Hello, Tammy. Tammy, the spa director there. So they came to us a few years ago and they were like, it's absolutely killing us that, you know, we give all the spa guests a complimentary bottle of water on arrival, and, you know, most of them take a sip and then they leave it, and then we're kind of having to, you know, we've got all this water that's either not fully been drunk, and obviously when we're fortunate enough to have clean water, we should make the most use of it, but also generating a lot of waste. So for those of you who don't know, Herb House Spa is at Limewood, 5-star hotel in the UK. And really this was spearheaded by Tammy, who's second to right there, and her lovely team who wanted to do better when it came to the environment. So we installed 5 refill points across the spa, and then each spa guest, instead of using throwaway cups, they each get a Belu refillable, which they can then take with them and use, you know, for as long as they need a refillable, which is for life. So in terms of the results there, over 106,000 single-use bottles were saved every year just by that simple switch. amazing feedback from their guests. They also get to engage their guests because at every single refill point, there's the story of the social impact with WaterAid and their objectives for doing it in the first place in terms of to become environmentally better. So basically, it's been a win-win-win for all. We also recently switched the Pig Hotel group from our mineral water to filtration. So again, for them, the objective was we want to do better by the environment, we want to reduce waste, but actually they saw mineral water sales declining. And with more people asking for tap, if you're of a standard that the Big Hotel Group is, you want your guests to have a premium water service. So that simple switch, we've done some carbon analysis, again, independent, and it has created 7 times less carbon intensive, which is a carbon saving equivalent to 10 return trips between London and Hong Kong across the group. Again, 116,000 single-use bottles removed a year. Social impact continues with Belu, and they support us to sustainably innovate and grow. What they actually do is they add I think it's £1.75 from memory to every single table, and the guests get unlimited still and sparkling water. And actually what they do is something really clever. They reinvest it, 50% of those sales back into Belu and our purpose, because they believe in our social impact and want to support us to grow. So again, it's good for the guests as well. They're getting a great value exchange, good for the pig and also good for Belu, and ultimately good for those living without clean water with WaterAid. This is an example of the messaging that goes on the back of their bottle. So again, putting a value on water, raising awareness that there is a water crisis, and also about their partnership with Belu and social enterprise. Another hotel example, just running through a few examples here because I think it helps bring it to life a lot more. Some of you may have heard of Inhabit Hotels, sustainable brand, part of the Montcalm group, who are also doing some work with on their big new hotel in Shoreditch in London. They've done a brilliant thing, actually, really innovative, I think, and we can't wait to use them as more of a case study, both at Inhabit and Montcalm, in which they're putting filtration points across every single floor. So all of their water service is filtered water, housekeeping fill up the water, pop it in the room, and then each guest gets to help themselves and refill for the duration of their stay. So then they're encouraged to buy less single use as well. And I have to say that for some reason, sparkling water on tap blows people's minds. You know, when they're actually like able to pour it themselves, it's quite the novelty. I don't know why, but it is. So again, they've had great feedback, and it really aligns well with them as a brand. And you know, one of their Montcalm East that we're launching in next month, that's 16 systems they've put across that hotel. So you know, it's a real good investment from them for the future. Also, I touched on WaterAid, obviously, we invest all our profits, but if any of you are operating hotels that work in communities that have their own issues with water, sanitation and hygiene, then get in touch with me and I'll put you in contact with WaterAid, because they can actually create partnerships with global hotel brands, for example, to improve health and destination community resilience to water sanitation. So say, for example, if you're a global hotel brand with a presence in Delhi, we know that, you know, in some of the urban slums of Delhi, there's massive problems when it comes to water, sanitation, hygiene. So WaterAid can certainly do a great deal of work that spans from, you know, sector leading stuff in terms of the wash space to employee engagement, guest engagement, and actually hygiene education for your teams as well in hotels. So do let me know. I've touched very briefly on that, but in the interest of time, do let me know if that's of interest. And, you know, what can you do today? I think back to the toolkit, you know, assess what are you doing now, what can you do less of that's better for the planet? Where can you reduce overheads by actually implementing? Sustainability doesn't always have to cost money, more money. It can actually save you money. Identify what those are and take action. Ask people for advice, you know, ask guys like us and also other people on the call. I'm sure if you wanted to talk to any of our existing hotel, spa customers, restaurants even, you know, I can put you in touch, because as a collective, we can, you know, do more more together than kind of doing it by ourselves. So just think about how you can support the global goals, particularly Global Goal 6 today. Give thanks for your water that you're drinking this afternoon. Give thanks for your loo when you go for your toilet break. The point is that over 2.3 billion people don't have access to a toilet. And, you know, as we all know, during COVID, soap is super important. But unfortunately, for many people, 3 billion people don't have hand washing facilities. So take a moment to give thanks, and then also join the movement on social media. It's got a spelling error there, but you know, hashtag water to me, hashtag World Water Day are the key campaign tags.